Hi, everyone. My name is Rachel Roloff. My pronouns are she, her, and I am going to be your seventh grade student's English teacher. Students call me Miss Rachel, but of course, in email or in person, you can call me Rachel Roloff or Miss Rachel, whatever you are most comfortable with. So here on my slide, I have my contact information, my email. I usually try to respond within the day. I'm working on personally at not checking my email after 5 o'clock and then not checking it over the weekend. You may still get an email from me during those times, but as a personal thing, I am working on keeping my work at school. So just to give you a heads up, you'll always get a response from me within 24 hours. It just might not be during those after school times. Materials. So I do want students to have a notebook, a composition or spiral. We'll be taking notes in there, but all the notes that we'll be taking, I will have the PowerPoints up on Schoology, so they can always find those, fix their notes, double check their notes. It'll be there ready for them. I also want students to have pencils or pens. I'm personally a pencil gal because I make mistakes a lot. And so it's always good for me to be able to erase. I also want students to have an independent reading book. On September 17th, our whole class will be going to the library. So after that day, I expect students to come into class with a book. For the first 8 to 10 minutes, we'll be reading. So just to give you a heads up on that kind of timeline. Here are our units for the year. I'm really excited about the novels. So I'll be teaching Ghost by Jason Reynolds, Between Shades of Grey by Ruta Sepetys. That will be a graphic novel, which will be super cool. And then if we have time, we'll be learning Divergent by Veronica Roth, which is a really good dystopian novel that will create just really good analysis. I'm really excited about it. My main focus this school year is always argumentative writing. That's kind of my expertise. And so we'll be working on expository, but our biggest unit will be argumentative, which is that overlooked history. So we'll be learning about parts of history that have been overlooked or are not often discussed. And students will get to choose one of the 8 that I'll give them. So if you have questions about that, let me know. It's my favorite unit. Okay, so I focus on standards-based grading. This is a lot of information, but it is kind of going over what is standards-based grading. So really it's me focusing on the state standards, and I'll be grading students on the state standards. If you want to read what I have, now's the time to pause, but here it is. So levels of learning. So I do grade on a 3-point scale. So 3 is the highest, and that is saying your student has met the criteria. They're exactly where they need to be for their grade level. They got it. Anything lower is they're struggling with it, or they just need a little bit more instruction maybe, or they're just not getting it yet. 0 is really important because that means that they did not turn it in. So if your student ever has a 0, they didn't turn in the assignment. So that one's important to know. So my category weights, I grade summative assignments as 100%. So those will be our essays. So our argumentative essay, letter responses, those will be the highest part or the only part of their grade. The formative are the assignments that we'll be doing in class that will get them to that summative assignment. Redos and retakes. So I always allow redos or retakes within the first quarter. So I'll give students kind of a heads up before the quarter ends, but that helps me kind of keep track of when our assignments were. So that way by the end of the school year, students aren't trying to work on an assignment at the beginning. We're staying within kind of our units. So within that quarter, students can redo the assignment as many times as they need to. They just have to email me or just tell me like, hey, I turned that in, because sometimes I don't notice because Schoology can be funky that way. And then homework. So my main homework is I expect students to read every single day. So we'll be reading 8 to 10 minutes in class, but I also want students to read outside of school. And then homework will never officially be assigned, but if a student has not completed an assignment in class, they are expected to do it at home. So if we're working on a big essay and they're not going, or they don't think they'll be able to finish in time, they have homework. I won't be telling students that technically, but I will say, hey, if you don't think you're going to finish it by Friday, I would work on it outside of school. So that's my expectation for that. There we go. And then if you miss class, I really would love it if you emailed me about questions that you have or what you need to make up. And if you know you're going to be absent before, I want students to come and ask me in person. If it's an assignment in class, sometimes I don't have students complete it. It'll just depend on the assignment. That's it. If you have questions for me, please let me know in email. I am so excited for the school year, and I'm so excited to get to meet and just get to learn all of your students' best qualities. And they're just unique selves. I'm really excited about that. Thank you so much, and I'll see you all soon.